my symptoms are much more mild, and I'm not getting the tightness in my chest. I'll be sick all winter, like I'll get better for a couple days and then I'll have another cold or flu. And then that just like keeps going on. And the same thing happened with this. It sucked because I did this program and I had 3 weeks, and like right when I was starting to supposed to like feel good, I got sick, and it lasted for 3 weeks. So half of this program I was sick, but I'm still getting a lot of benefits.
Yes, you mentioned that you noticed that you are having more mental clarity, your bladder pain is gone, and you don't have lung inflammation.
Yes, so because I have had kind of reoccurring lung inflammation, and it's really cool because I am getting seasonal allergies right now. Like outside, there's pollen everywhere, and I'm getting like the sniffles and I'm getting a little bit like tired from allergies, but my symptoms are much more mild, and I'm not getting the tightness in my chest, which is, the most concerning symptoms, because that never feels good when your chest tightens. So, and I'm not getting the wheezing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, honestly, I'm like, that alone makes all this worth it, and I have, this is not what I was doing this for. I was doing it for like the fatigue and not so I don't get sick all the time and to reverse my autoimmune issue. But part of the autoimmune issue was that I would get bladder inflammation. So I'd go to bed at night, like my bladder wouldn't bother me during the day, but I would go to bed at night, and then like sometimes it was just like I'd have bladder inflammation, not almost a little bit like you're about to get a UTI, but I knew I wasn't getting a UTI because I used to have issues with that. But it was just like I would get super inflamed in my bladder, and I'd have to go pee a million times. And, I still had to get up a couple more times than I like, but it's not like the crazy amount that I would like the 10 times. And I'm not having bladder pain. Like so that's a huge win,
Yes.
A huge celebration.
Yes, that's very good. So because you also got sick, but we just changed some things in your diet, so you weren't even doing it like to full capacity because you couldn't eat, because you had stomach issue, but you still were able to see good improvement. So I'm happy about that.
Even though I had the stomach bug, and there's a very particular disturbance to my tummy, but it's not the same as it was before. So I was excited about that.
Okay, and how's your energy? I know you had extreme fatigue. I remember.
It is better. Like I got like fatigue because of the allergies, but then like my mental clarity has been a bit better. I'm still having drops of energy, but they're not as significant. My husband will tell you that I'm definitely more engaged in things, and in the evening I'm more engaged than I used to be. I would just be like checking out completely at night because I was just so drained. But yeah, no, it's still a little bit up and down. And obviously I got sick and it felt like I had 2 things back to back. But yeah, so I'm not completely healed, but I'm noticeably better. Like my hair's a tiny bit thicker. When I got sick, my hair thinned out again. And I was like, oh, my body's using all that stuff that was going to my hair. But as soon as I started getting better from the illness, my hair started thickening up a tiny bit. I have really thin hair. So I was like, my hair was thinning so much. So it was such a bummer. And then my skin, I look younger, like my skin looks like I've,
Yes.
de-aged a couple years. One thing I did notice, though, it's funny because I think that just a little bit of the bladder inflammation was probably coming from some of the supplements I was eating or taking, sorry. And it's funny because I kind of just stuck to the very minimal supplements that you mentioned, but there was, when I was sick, I was like, oh, I have my community mushrooms, which I really like this brand, but I took a couple pills, like one in the morning and one in the night, and some of my bladder inflammation did come back. And and then the same thing happened with this, because, I had a stomach bug, and it didn't happen when I just took one. Sorry, I'm trying to get it the right.
Yeah, I can see it. Probiotic.
Okay, it's the Sachi Varices Boulardi, which is great for stomach bugs. But when I took one, I didn't notice anything. But when I took a little bit more of each of these supplements, it was 2 nights. It was only the nights that I took more supplements that my bladder irritation kind of came back, not severe, but it came back a little bit. I was like, oh, interesting. And I was just like, because my diet was so regimented, I'm like, I know it was these supplements. So I'm like, I don't know if it was like my kidneys having to work harder, or if like one of the ingredients, that's what I was thinking.
They could be an ingredient, because we had a client, like I said, who had really bad eye pain all the time, and then he was taking vitamin D that has a lot of oil in it, inflammatory oil, and as soon as he switched to vitamin D, which is we recommend just regular liquid vitamin D with medium chain fatty acid, so it doesn't have anything except some fatty acid and vitamin D. So and he noticed a big improvement in his eye pain when we removed the supplement. So it could be something you reacted in the supplement. You might not know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Do you know what polysaccharide is? It's extracellular polysaccharide.
Yeah, so polysaccharide is just it's just a carbohydrate that's
okay.
put together in a longer chain. And is there anything else in like other ingredients?
It's got brown rice, dried mycelated brown rice, and then it's got a lot of mushrooms. So I'm like, the mushrooms could.
Yeah. So I think that's that could be that part that's inflammatory.
The mushrooms.
The rice. Because
okay.
rice is processed, but you could be reacting to it.
Actually, the first night I got allergies. I did think I was getting sick this time, but it cleared up really fast.
Very good. So it means your immune system is improving. And the inflammation is going away. That's going to help you fight infections better, and hopefully you won't be getting sick. I used to get sick all the time with tonsillitis and ear aches and headaches, but I would get sick sometimes it would last for 3 months, just having a flu-like symptoms when in my early 20s. And I think that's when I started noticing, why am I sick so often? And now I don't get sick at all, which is great.
Yeah, no, that is my key motivator. I have spent so many winters just back to back to back. The only winter I didn't spend back to back to back sick was the one where we were most locked down with the pandemic, where it was like most severe, where we hardly saw anybody. Like, but I'm like, that's not the way you want to live.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah.
Yes, but I'm so happy. So you're glad you did this, right? Because I know you were eating really healthy. Yeah. There was a lot of things you were doing good for your health, but it just helped you optimize it for you, correct?
Well, it's kind of like all or nothing, like, and I feel like what I was doing was like, I was getting better and then I was ripping the Band-Aid off. I was getting better and then I was ripping the Band-Aid off. And so if I hadn't done this, I would have never given my belly a full chance to heal, because so much of the information we're given out there is so misleading and misguiding. Like, the fact that I thought the AIP diet would help us, and we were cooking from the AIP cookbook almost every night, because my husband went on the AIP diet too.
Yeah, so that's why different foods have different inflammatory components. So we talked about in a class how AIP diet, they removed grains, they removed a lot of dairy and all the processed foods. So that's why it's less inflammatory way of eating, because people are avoiding other inflammatory sugars, and that's why they're getting better. But our program is the most anti-inflammatory, because there's really nothing that can has inflammation. We just make changes for each person, like depending what their gut issues are or what they're dealing with, how their body is responding. But I'm glad you were able to see good improvements, even though you got sick the last 2 weeks. And now you know exactly what to do. But I do want you to check in with us. Just update us your labs. You can see lab work. You can let us know how you're doing. because one of our clients, she had alopecia. All of her hair fell out due to autoimmune disease. She also had Hashimoto's, and her hair continues to grow. It's been 4 months, and it continues to grow. So it's really good to hear when people continue getting better. That's what I want to hear from you too, Jeanie. So yes,
that's why I signed it. You know, the fact that you guys follow your clients is why I signed up for you guys, because I kept thinking, oh, I can do this on my own. And then I was like, I loved how you guys followed your guys' clients' progress, because it's like nobody else is doing that. And I'm like, do you even really know if you're helping people or not? You know, and I feel like that's what people do. It's like, oh, just try this, and they're not really helping you, you know? So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome, because I just want people to get better. That's why I'm doing
Yeah.
it. Because I don't want
It's
you
like,
to be sick. So I would rather have them reach out to me than get conflicting advice again. They get confused. So that's why I do check in with our clients like 5 months later, and they tell me they don't need help. Because they're doing fine. But if anything comes up, you know how to reach us. We do offer clients can schedule a follow-up call if something you come up, but otherwise you can send us your labs and you know what to do. And I think if you just stick to it longer time, you're going to be able to see more improvements, and then you can repeat the full version of the program to full capacity when you're able to do it with your gut. So that way it really helps you get rid of any other inflammation and your allergies. So
great. That would be wonderful. Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad we had this call, and I'll reach out when I get my labs and make more progress.